questions are there. We take some moments to bring our attention to something very basic and aspects which everybody knows in some way, but gets pushed away, and the automatism overtakes and drags one into the usual business. One of these aspects which I would like to bring the attention today is to recognize the fact that to be destructive, to act out of anger, hatred, bitterness, to be revengeful, to be hard on anybody, to hurt somebody, it comes very easy. You don't need to do anything for that. It comes almost automatically as a part of the unconscious automatic reaction. But to be creative, to go gracefully in connection, to find intelligent answers, to be creative in your response, it requires initiative, it requires effort, it requires determination. It requires some understanding, some courage. And this is very important that you realize it. Without a deliberate orientation for love, without a conscious decision to live compassionately, without really understanding that without your initiative and determination, the energy is automatically getting pulled into uncreative ways of reacting. Without such a alert and careful way of approaching life, we follow the automatism, follow the unconscious process almost blindly. That is why many people understand many things which are valuable. Many people logically, rationally can almost agree immediately with all these aspects. But what is the problem then in the world? What is making people suffer unnecessarily? What is making people go into so much aggression, disappointment, bitterness? There you see that with what determination, with what understanding we are applying what we understand becomes a very decisive factor. So it's not enough if you logically, rationally understand many things and say, yes, that is like that is true, yes, I can understand it. That is just like reading about a cookbook. When you want the hunger to be satisfied, then you have to prepare the meal and eat. The preparation may not be so easy, and to take it is not often always fitting with how one wants it. So recognize your part in the whole life process. And this is very, very basic, that you also see that we don't see the reality. We project into the reality. We don't understand ourselves or anybody deeply and rightly till we learn consciously to look at these automatic and unconscious processes which are working in us. And these are things which nobody else can do for you. These are things which you need to realize and go consequently into living, into practicing. That is when you realize that we as a human being, we as an individual, have a great responsibility towards life. It is not just that we can remain on a level of the child and wait for the parents to take care of everything. The life process is like that it can move in a healthy direction. It can move in a way that it can be fulfilling and creative. Only when more and more people who understand also take this responsibility and live from this understanding and responsibility the day-to-day life process. Because whatever you live, your surroundings are interacting to it. You may think, what can I do? I'm just a small individual in this vast life process. Yes, but you are not just what you imagine yourself to be. It is like a flame, a small flame, when it starts illuminating itself. It can bring light to the surrounding, and it can also pass on the flame to many other flames, to many other beings who are ready. It can be inspiring, it can be encouraging, it can be empowering. When you are authentic, when you are true, when you are loving, and when you stand for what is valuable, it is not only something for yourself, it is also for everybody else. Because we don't, in a deeper sense, live separately from the whole. We are, in a deeper sense, part of an undivided reality. Whether we are aware of it or not, whether we like it or not, the reality is the way it really is. That is, that the life process is a deeply interwoven, non-dualistic basis. That is why all this seeking and searching becomes so important and necessary. All the determination to face the reality, face the truth, to awaken to that what really is, becomes so important. To know who you really are becomes so decisive, because that will open up your whole perception, that will change your vision, that will bring the right understanding and the right basis through which you will be deeply fulfilled, and you become a blessing also to everybody else, directly and indirectly. So recognize the nature of our individual potential, and recognize also how easy it is to follow the automatic reaction process which drags us into many negative reactions, many destructive processes. And also realize that it is you who decide to take care, to move the energy towards creativity, towards love, towards light, and live it consequently. This is the unique potential in human life. And this is what makes the human being different than other living beings. This is an unspoken responsibility which life has given to us. All the other living beings on this earth, they are in tune with life, they are in harmony, but they are not yet capable to come to realize the potential of love the way human beings can realize. They are not yet in the capacity to recognize the wonder, the beauty, the intelligence, the care, the playfulness, which is behind all the manifestation of life. The human being, through deepening of consciousness, through a wakeful, non-interfering way of facing the reality, through a conscious way of not following the judgments of the automatic nature and just mirroring everything, become capable to realize the mysterious nature of our reality, the grandeur, the beauty, the tremendousness of this life process. It is not easy for the normal logical mind to conceive of it, because in the normal way of going, we are busy with the day-to-day life process, the way to function, the way to achieve our goals which we have in our program. Make ourselves busy with things through which we find some kind of comfort and engage ourselves with things which looks interesting. But that is not enough. We have to realize the fact that this life in this body and all what is there in our life is going on changing. And we have a certain period of time to be in this body and to be with the game of the life the way it is now. We can so easily overlook it. We can so easily miss the chance and just go on passing time in the routine way without living the joy, without living in gratitude, without living in celebration. Because the moment you really understand yourself, spontaneously there is so much joy, so much gratitude. And you realize that you are part of the celebration of life. You realize that you are not here just almost on some duty to manage something and to deliver some reward and get something for what you do. It is not a business deal. It's an overwhelming, overflowing life process which we are part of. So unless we realize the blessedness of our being in this life process, being in this body, we are missing the life. And each day what we have can be the day where you can awaken to it. It is not something in the far away in the future. That is how your automatism goes on postponing everything. Or someday, maybe. Or you put it in such a way that it is happening or it's possible for somebody who is big and special to achieve it. No. You are that. You have to only let go of your hypnotic belief and the settlement in the convenience which you have in believing so, that, oh, it's not something which I can achieve, it's not something which I can realize, it's something so vast, so far away, so difficult. But these are also reactions coming from the same conditioning. So question yourself and realize it's a very delicate and a very different way of going what is required. Normally you are used to struggling. When you want to achieve something, you think you have to fight for it, you have to struggle for it, you have to prove that you are better than the other, and there's a subtle, aggressive fighting approach which we get into. But to achieve the real, to awaken to the truth, to realize the divinity which is behind everything, it is not a fighting approach, it is more a gentle, wakeful, sympathetic way of looking at yourself and everybody else. What is required? That is why I say you need to take the initiative for it, because the automatism will drag you into the usual way of projecting and categorizing and pull you into negative reactions very easily. You don't need to do anything for it, but to live your intelligence, to live your creative potential, and to realize the beauty, the wonder, the joy which you carry in you. You need to take initiative and stay with it. Don't postpone it. And the automatism comes with certain excuses to postpone. When you find reactions arising in you which justify your tendency to go around this facing of the reality, notice it and see that this is all coming from the same conditioning. This is all what prevents you from being simple and look at life in a direct and deep way. The treasure is there, but one can oversee it very easily. In the Tibetan prayer which they make, there is one sentence which is the Tibetan mantra, and that sentence simply means the treasure which you are seeking is in the lotus of your heart. Om Mani Padme Hum. Bring the attention to that what is taking place in you, and don't you let yourself get dragged into the automatism. That is what it means to connect through the heart, because connecting through the heart, you are connecting to the wholeness of the reality. And that is very, very important. That is when you realize that behind all the differences, there is a very basic unifying process. And the heart is the bridge. Heart means a compassionate, wakeful way of connecting to life, connecting to yourself, connecting to everybody else. And this is important, that you realize this possibility and also realize that it is so easy to overlook it. Look at it. It's so easy to miss this chance because nobody is there behind you to force it. It is not something which you are compelled to make. It is something which is there as a possibility. Therefore, it is also very easy to not realize it. So bring the attention as carefully to these aspects and allow the joy, allow the celebration, and allow the love to be the very way of your intelligent living.